Today we meet for the 5th time since May to try to elect a Speaker, to reinstate this Assembly and to allow MLAs mandated by the electorate to represent and work here on their behalf and to get on with the job. As we meet in the comfort of this well-heated and well-lit building, I am very acutely aware that there are tens of thousands of families that are living in cold homes, unable to afford to turn on their heating, and who are worried about the next bill coming through the doors as we face into the most difficult winter in a generation. And outside of those family homes, our health service is in crisis, and the healthcare workers are being forced to take strike action for safe working conditions and decent pay, to defend themselves and the wider health service, and it's an absolute disgrace that they are being forced into that position. Yesterday we were in London and we met with the leadership of the Royal College of Nurses to hear the plight of our nurses, and I want to send solidarity and support to the nurses from this Assembly today and to the other health and public sector workers also. They have our full support, and I think I speak for most of the people in this Assembly in calling on the British Government and the people who do have the purse strings to immediately get around the negotiating table and get on with the resolution. So the Secretary of State has now brought the Executive Formation Bill through Westminster to extend the deadline to form a government or to hold an election. He has now given decision-makers to civil servants, and he has cut MLA pay. He has set out a budget statement and will bring forward an unadulterated Tory budget bill also. And whilst they are spending all this time trying to find workarounds, the real question is, how are they using the space that they have now created to get a negotiated settlement with the EU to restore the executive and put to the test the DUP's boycott? I was in the Dáil last Thursday when European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen addressed the parliamentarians the length and breadth of this island. And she said that Brexit will not become an obstacle to reconciliation in Ireland, that the single market must continue to function, and if both sides are sensitive to this careful balance, a deal can be done, and that there will be no hard border on the island. She also said that our contacts with Prime Minister Rishi Sunak are encouraging. I once more welcome this contact, but I go further than that and I appeal for negotiations to be intensified. We do not have months to ponder, but rather weeks to take action that creates stability and certainty for society, businesses and politics. We cannot be left to the mercy of the Tories in London, people who are dictating the priorities here, when they have no votes and no mandate here. And already we're starting to see the consequences of having no executive. Education services being cut, with youth services being targeted, with job losses and reduced provision, now being imposed against the wishes of elected MLAs. And it's clear for us all to see that the DUP's political tactic is to abandon our people to a Tory government intent on inflicting cuts and austerity on the most vulnerable in our society. And that strategy, if it can even be called a strategy, makes no sense and it has no purpose. Incredibly, it's apparently a strategy dictated by a handful of loyalist bloggers. Jeffrey Donaldson, of course, is not here. He's not here with us despite the fact that he was elected to sit here. But I want to appeal again to him and to the DUP MLAs who have come to this sitting. Rethink your approach, reconsider your position, and most of all, recognise the dire and deteriorating circumstances that people, your voters, all of our voters, are facing on a day-to-day basis. The crisis in our emergency departments, the cuts to youth services, the very real prospect of the cold faced by many of our people, particularly the old and the very young and those with disabilities. People need our help. They need us to do our jobs, and they are rightly angry. Each one of these challenges that we face demands new thinking from us as elected representatives, demands a responsible and mature political response to help people right now who are desperate to see the end of the DUP boycott of politics. By any objective measure, everyone knows that the protocol is working and that it's protecting our economy from some of the worst effects of Brexit. We need to focus on the opportunities that it presents, dual market access, and how that can create benefits and create more jobs in building our economy. And of course, the members opposite disagree with that, and that's okay. You're entitled to disagree with that. But whatever about our different opinions on the protocol, we all know that any of these issues that have been identified relating to the protocol will not be resolved in this chamber. Last week, I welcomed, as I said, the comments by the Commission President, Ursula von der Leyen, and she restated again the willingness of the Commission to resolve the issues and how the protocol is applied. We all want these issues to be resolved, but in the meantime, we're elected to be here in this chamber to have people's backs, to get the £600 out into their pockets. They are crying out for help. They need us to do our job. They elected us to do our job. So I call on you again. You should be ashamed of yourselves in this chamber today. The public need our support. Do your job, turn up